My name is Father Joseph Mboya, a Kenyan Jesuit, doing my doctoral studies in Ignatian spirituality at the Gregorian University in Rome. I would like to invite you to the Symposium on the spiritual exercises in the African context that will be held in Mwangaza Spirituality Centre in Nairobi from the 6th to the 10th of July of 2025. Why a symposium, we may ask, on the spiritual exercises in the African context? The Society of Jesus in 2019 came up with a 10-year roadmap, like a guideline, called the Universal Apostolic Preferences of what we would like to do and to engage with people. And the first of the preferences was to show people the way to God through the spiritual exercises and through discernment. Indeed, Pope Francis invited the Jesuits to lead and to teach people in the church how to discern. Discernment, which is key in the spirituality of St. Ignatius of Loyola, especially through the spiritual exercises. And so as a result of that, we are gathering in Nairobi, bringing together Jesuits, lay people, religious men and women from all parts of Africa, engaged in ministry in the spiritual exercises, either in retreat houses, either in pastoral work, or even in the intellectual apostolate, those who are studying or writing on the spiritual exercises, because we realize that it is important to inculturate and to adapt the spiritual exercises in our contexts, because what makes the spiritual exercises unique for us? We may talk of African theology, we may talk of African spirituality or African ecclesiology and so forth. But what do the spiritual exercises do for us in the African context? So the spiritual exercises is like a ray of light that is refracted through a lens, and in everybody who experiences it, the effects are different. And so what is unique about our African experiences, our African cultures, and our way of doing things that can impact the continent and impact the way we relate with each other and the way that we present God to others as a loving God who has come to save us. So the symposium will be divided into 3 days. The first day we will be looking at what are the sources of the spiritual exercises. What are some of the translations that have been done in the African languages? What are some of the adaptations that have been made, or how have we tried to inculturate it? Because for the spiritual exercises to make sense and to be deepened in our experience, they have to make sense in the African way, African language, and in everything that we do. So we will have scholars that will lead us through the reflection on that. And then on the second day, we'll be looking at the modalities of giving the spiritual exercises. For example, how can we give them to the African family? How can it be given to women, and to an African woman, what does Ignatian spirituality mean to them? And then to the youth, how can we adapt it even in their language, a language that speaks to their heart and to their experience? And then on the third day, we will look at formation, because it's important. How do we form young Jesuits in the spiritual exercises so that they'll be able to relate to people and invite them to this experience of God? And how can we also form other people to be givers of the spiritual exercises, but in this way that is unique and specific to us? The afternoon sessions are designed in a way that in the morning we have these presentations and intellectual discourse on the spiritual exercises in these 3 ways that I've said of the 3 days. And so in the afternoons we come together in focus groups and we discuss how are we giving them, how are they influencing and impacting our lives. And then in these groups we come together to deepen that and come up with perhaps some proposals that will lead us forward. So we hope that by the end of this symposium, we will be able to publish some of these works and make it available to other people so that they can also learn from this experience. But this is just the beginning, bringing people together to talk and to share from their experiences. And then we hope that in the future, we can be able to do more of such things. We even have guests coming from Europe, specialized in this spiritual exercises and Ignatian spirituality, who will bring an added dimension and who will challenge us in the way that we are trying to give them and look at them in that sense. So for those who are able, you can participate by joining us online. Some people will be present, and then after that you are also welcome to send us contributions and engage us in these exercises that will be encouraged by the symposium that we will have in these days. So thank you.